I'm Genevieve and this is Fox from Temtris, Sydney, Australia.
Beautiful, wonderful. Whereabouts are you guys right now, actually?
We actually live in Nowra.
Ah, no
The
way.
rest of the band is Sydney, so
Yeah.
we're like 2 hours from Sydney.
All right. Queen of Crows is your eighth album. What themes or emotions were driving the writing process behind it this time?
When I came up with the concept, whenever we Temptress write albums, I come up with themes or concepts to write about to help with the writing structure and give me ideas for song lyrics. And I really wanted to do something about consequences in life, and they could be good or bad, and how that affects you personally or people around you. So, yeah, for me, it was quite easy. I have a lot of in-depth topics about that from personal experiences and things we've dealt with throughout our career. So for me, that made it quite an easy. I found the writing quite easily this time to put my emotions down on paper. So that was something that sort of came together even for Fox. I know consequences. There's plenty of good and bad to talk about in the world at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, coming off the back of an album like Chaos Divine, the previous album, which really was a journey into sort of sci-fi dystopia land.
Yeah.
Great fun for writing in different styles and incorporating a lot of new sounds into the music. But again, coming to this album for Queen of Crows, just to take that dynamic shift again, definitely not sci-fi, this one.
No. Yeah.
We see the musical trail sort of follows along, so elements that we've introduced even as far back as the Ritual Warfare album and even Rapture have carried along through our sound as it's grown and developed. So there's definitely a timeline there, but it was great to step into, I guess. In the album cover itself and the artwork, there's tarot cards. There's a whole. Probably a witchcrafty that sort of vein and element to it as well, which, yeah, again, opens up a whole different range of musical options as far as songwriting is concerned.
Yeah, definitely. I did notice that from the previous album and even previous albums, you guys have stepped away from what you were doing. And it's almost, I don't want to say it's a genre shift because I don't think it's that extreme, but you have explored new avenues, I think, with this album.
Yeah, we always try to add more or different elements to our songs. We don't want every album to sound the same, even though it's still Temptress.
Yeah.
We do try and push our own personal boundaries. I try and push vocally. He try and pushes musically. So that's something we do. Are happy to experiment and try things. And I think that's where if you have something to write about musically, you can experiment with other things that work and try things. And I'll sometimes go to him, I need this guitar part, and I'll have to sing it because I can't play it. And then he'll write me a vocal part and I'll be like, you want me to sing what?
Yeah. Crazy. And I watched the music video for The World Is Bleeding and it had me feeling empowered and it had really strong female energy. You reminded me of like Xena Warrior Princess in it. Where did you guys film that as well?
That was actually Newcastle.
Stockton Beach.
Yeah, Stockton sand dunes. They're quite famous for people going and checking out, and you can go on tours there on a dune buggy, and because it's just endless dunes. And our filmmaker Adam literally just suggested, when I said we wanted something similar like the film of the cover of the album with the sand on it, he said, I've got the place for you. And when we turned up, we were just like, there was even the tree there to do the photos for the band, and I was like, it's just perfect.
Yeah, and so lucky there was no one else. I mean, I guess the dunes are expansive and endless, but it's beautiful. I highly recommend everyone check it out.
Yeah,
and,
thanks.
And can you walk us through the story or message behind The World Is Bleeding Out?
Your baby.
It was one of the first songs written for the album, which is kind of interesting how it ended up being the closing track. But it was kind of written that way. It is a closing track. It's a finishing sort of song. The motifs are really, again, around about the global perspective of what humanity is sort of choosing in some ways to do to itself by what it chooses to include in its greed and its approach to capitalism and consumerism. those sort of elements. And I guess when you're dealing with an album that's themed around consequences, lyrically, we're delving into that area. But it was also, musically, it was designed to be also a tale of sort of two parts. It's got a very soft, somber kind of introduction, which is meant to allude to the seriousness of the subject matter. But then when we cut into the second half of the song, there's a bit of fanfare going on, and it's a little bit deliberately tongue-in-cheek written that way, because it's kind of like in some other areas of the lyrics in other songs, there's mention of this parade of humanity that goes on. So musically, it was written to have that dynamic of drama, promotion, advertising. This is all amazing, wonderful stuff, and how powerful and how potent the human race is. But of course, when you dig into the lyric content, we're kind of having a giant barbet ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. You've got those sort of opposites in there, and like you're saying, that fanfare for everything that's, advertising and going on in the world at the moment, but then contrasted with your lyrics as well. It's great. And it's I never thought of it like that, but now that you're saying it, like how it's divided into the two parts, that's awesome.
Thanks.
And was there a particular track on Queen of Crows that challenged you vocally or emotionally during the week?
Well, Carnival of Tears, when Anthony first wrote that one and showed me how it has a whole octave jump in the second verse, I first went, we're never fucking playing this live. But we did the other night at our album launch, and I pulled it off, and I was really proud of myself. But it took me a long time to teach my voice how to do that, because I had to, at first I was trying to sing it in falsetto, which I don't do very often. I normally use my chest voice or mixed voice for everything. That's why I get the loud, I get compared to being like sounding like a male singer sometimes, because I don't do the symphonic stuff very much. But it took me a long time to work out how to do that. But I'm one of those people, even with Chaos Divine, that track was really high as well. Once I've been given the time to teach my voice, it becomes a muscle memory, and then I can usually do it every show.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
It's where the songwriting team aspect comes into it, and we're very lucky, even between Jen and myself, how we're able to share expertise and ideas, but also constantly push the bar on each other, and that translates to the other members in the band as well. Nick, drummer, contributes quite heavily to all the rhythmic side of things, and he's got a really good hold on writing to a concept as well. So it's great fun bouncing ideas around and getting all the right rhythm sections going with all these other motifs that are going on in music. But with Jen in particular, and the Carnival of Tears song, there's always at least one song on the album where I sort of close it off to myself and say, I'm just going to go stupid on it, basically. I'm going to write what's in my head, and I'm just going to ignore any filters and present it once it's done. And then, it's Chaos Divine was a similar sort of theme, the song itself, because when I brought it to Jen, she just looked at me and just went, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
So that's not really happening. I'm like, that's how I'm hearing it in my head. So it'd be nice if you give it a go.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do this. And of course, being the amazing vocalist that she is, she doesn't back down from a challenge. So we get these amazing results out of that music. But that song, to hear Jen perform it live the other night in Sydney, just phenomenally impressive to listen to a vocalist deliver that sort of level of vocal performance live off a stage. It makes you very proud as a songwriter to be able to be involved in that process.
Oh, I can only imagine. See, a lot of your songs, I feel like they translate obviously so well in a live performance. Does it take you guys a lot of goes to get a track down in the studio, or are things pretty rapid?
This guy, I have to tell him to stop rewriting.
Oh.
because he will keep writing
Keep going,
and writing and fiddling and trying to make things better, which I understand. There's a point where you have to go, this song's fucking great, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Stop fiddling. And studio wise, like for me, the drummer and myself, we get in the studio and we'll pretty much record in 3 days, 3 to 5 days. We've done that. But the writing process, we always put ideas down and we will tweak forever in our studio here about making things as good as we can. Or we'll listen for a while and then we're like, chorus isn't big enough, or it's, it's not emotionally driven enough and stuff like that. So we will keep fiddling. So we can be, I do have to some point go to Fox.
Yeah, core concepts in songs generally come together fairly solidly, particularly when we've got such a strong theme to write around. And Genevieve and I have been writing together for so long. We're pretty good at nailing down the big picture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the time then comes into how fine-tuned we want the detail to be. And even I'm guilty of overwriting a song and then looking at it later and just going, there's no way I'm going to remember all these different changes and variations on stage. That's just not going to happen. So, again, having the other writers around and having the other members of the band around to sort of go, well, that's it. No more detail.
Stop.
Don't dig it any further. We don't need any more variations. No, we've got the theme. We've got the core of it. If you start pushing it any further than that, it's going to start sounding like Hamilton the musical or something scary like that. So, having those filters on is a great thing. But, it sort of is that dig into the detail until I feel like I've challenged what I've been able to do as a composer, as a writer, and the same for the other guys. But there's always a point where you hit the brakes.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I feel like I would be that type of person to obsess over it and go, and then it's good you have the others around you to just go, no, it's okay, stop. And Jen, growing up for you, some of your inspirations, nowadays there is so many more female fronted bands, which is awesome. But how about for you growing up, who were some of your inspirations?
Look, early on, probably my first female major vocalist that I got hooked onto was Pat Benatar, just because she had such an amazing vocal range. She was classically trained, and what she did, Hell is for Children song, for example, is just amazing. And I often listen to those tracks and go, it'd be really cool to medal those up and see how they turn out. So, for her, she was my first rock vocalist that really got my attention. Then, of course, people like Doro Pesh from Warlock was my other. But I did follow more into that because there was not so many females in the business, was more following Bruce Dickinson when I really heard him. That was like an easy thing for me to sort of attach to with my singing style. And then I had people like Jeff Tate from Queensryche that really grabbed me. But as you say, now there's females everywhere singing, but the majority of them these days are either doing symphonic vocals or death vocal.
Yeah.
And I've even been noticing some of the traditional vocalists are now just doing death vocal because that's the thing to do, but I would rather stay true and someone did a review recently and compared me to people like my idols, and when you get compared to your idols like Jeff Tate or Bruce Dickinson, well then I don't want to do death vocals.
That's right. No, that's it. You're exactly right. And I think it just speaks to you. You've obviously just nailed down your talent so well, and yourself and your voice and your vocal range I don't want you to, and I don't think you need to go and explore different, like the death vocals.
It's always it's a thing. A few people do say to me, you could go and do this, and I probably could, but
you definitely can. Vocally you can, but musically, really, we put so much work into lyric content and making vocal lines like really standout points in as part of the vocal arrangement. So to sort of not downgrade, but to put death vocals in amongst that sort of, I don't think that would be being totally true to what we're trying to represent with the music.
That's it. And how about, what are you guys listening to at the moment? Is there anything that's really grabbed your attention lately?
Well, it's tricky when we're in the writing phase and recording phase. We don't listen to anything else, which is really frustrating because we get so stuck in you're just analysing everything else so much and you don't want to put other influences in. But, yeah, gee, what have we listened? I mean, I'm keen for the new Primal Fear album, so I've been checking out what's coming with Ralph. Ralphie always impresses me with his vocals. So
Yeah,
we were listening to a bit of Testament. They've toured just recently, so was getting back into a bit of them and enjoying the fact that bands like Testament, a lot of the shows they're doing now are legacy sort of album shows, so you can backtrack a little bit and have a bit of nostalgia and go and watch Alex Skolnick play the Return to Serenity solo live and just get your goosebumps. So, yeah, that sort of stuff. It's that love for live music.
Yes, definitely. And with dual guitars being such a key part of your sound, how closely do you work with the guitarist when shaping vocal melodies? We've kind of already spoken about this.
It is very much like writing, I guess, almost for a string quartet in a way. You've got your bass holding down that cello part down the bottom. We use 7-string guitar, which would obviously sit in your viola line, and then your other guitar is your violin, and your vocalist takes the other violin part. So those are your 4 layers of writing that you then blend across your chord structures and whatever else you're doing.
Gee, intense. Sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, I suppose it takes a bit of musical knowledge. It's we're not a band that just sort of jams stuff out and goes, yeah, that sounds good. Just repeat that. There's musicality involved, and I'll always be pushing lines, and that's the detail we mentioned before. I'm looking for those extra lines. I'm looking for the balance of how things sit, and everything is there to deliver that strong vocal performance over the top. We get our chance to shine as guitarists whenever the vocals are sort of out of the way and we're doing our solo stuff. And Nardi and I put a lot of work into the harmony writing that we do. And again, that's, I suppose, where guitarists like Nardi bring their strengths to the fore, because he's just a fantastic guitarist. So he loves stepping up those sort of challenges. I consider myself more of a songwriter. I play guitar well enough to get out what's going on in my head, and sometimes that's fairly challenging. But to work with an actual guitarist like Nardi and Donovan, who appeared on the album as well, they push me in a guitar sense, and I like to think that I push back with the musicality side of things and challenge them to go in some different directions than just the standard arpeggios or whatever might be the first response. It's always a bit like, well, that sounds great, but how could we make it not better, but how could we make it different? And most importantly, how could we attach it better to the theme of the music and get it more strongly representing the song as a whole?
It's really intricate, and it's really interesting to hear that from you, because it's like with music, as a listener, sometimes you can just hear the music for what it is and not really understand the complex layers underneath that have gone into it. And I think it's particularly incredible that you write on guitar with the vocals in mind, and you can throw those ideas back off to Jen and be like, how about you try this?
And it's very important, because there's nothing worse than being given a piece of music and people going, sing to this. And I'm like, but what am I singing to? And what is I need some emotional content to attach to write. I just can't. So hence why I quite often when we write albums and we go to write a new album, I'll be the instigator of the theme to start the process.
I see.
So I can actually go to Fox. Okay, we're going to go down this road.
Yeah.
Ritual Warfare was literally about time and time in life and stuff. So, we always have something to attach to, which helps the creation.
And Genevieve, I mean, I might have my party pieces, but Genevieve will contribute bulk of lyrical ideas as well, because, again, sometimes as a guitarist, you don't really think about simple things like how's a vocalist going to breathe
Yeah.
while singing all these multiple words and phrases and things? So it is quite important that Jen, as the vocalist, with the kind of vocal delivery she's expected to produce, she's able to sort of go, well, these words go here because I need time to take a breath.
Yeah, that's awesome. And was there a particular moment or a lyric on the album that felt especially personal for you?
I actually wrote Scars of Betrayal. I don't know if you've seen the single. That was our second single. That one is very close to our heart. I actually wrote that about one of my children self-harming and almost losing her life.
Oh, my goodness.
So that is, bullying and how the epidemic of bullying is taking over our children in high schools and even primary schools, and the fact that people are literally, you see so many kids I'm seeing with cuts on, they're self-harming to try and regulate their behaviours and make themselves feel better. And that track for me is literally about that, about Scars of Betrayal, about being hurt by friends, about being hurt by people you don't know.
Yeah.
Personally, I've had people attack me online just because of what I do and who I am, and the fact that they're not there as well, so they want to take me down. So that Scars of Betrayal is really, it's a really close to home piece, that one, and it's very it's sad, but it needs to be told that it's not okay what's going on in the world. And I think parents have a bit of responsibility there. A lot of parents are walking around bullying themselves, and children are watching that behaviour and seeing how they're talking and copying, sadly.
100%. That adds a new layer of meaning. I mean, I could kind of guess what, within the nature of what the lyrics were, what the song was sort of about. But as a mum and, with kids in primary school, actually, even just today, one of my kids is at netball and she had an issue with the other kids. And it's just, you feel so powerless, don't you, as a parent?
And that's the thing, you think or we thought we knew how in depth the bullying was, but we had no idea until, it got to this point. And that's the thing, you can think your kids are okay because my daughter always says to me, my own son said, you're always so strong. So I just, had to think I have to be like you, put on this brave face. But you don't realise what's actually going on, even though you think you're doing the best you can.
Yeah.
There's the outsiders that are causing so much damage to your kids with the bullying is really, really sad, and it's going on everywhere. So it is a thing. It's an epidemic at the moment in schools, and I don't know how we get control back over that.
I know. No, me either. I wish I had an answer. And how is your daughter today? Is she all right?
Oh, she's great. Finished school, working, off to uni.
Oh, good. Oh, thank goodness.
Doing awesome now. So I think that's the thing, is she was one of those smart, good-looking, pretty girls that didn't smoke or do drugs, so everyone picked on her because she wasn't
doing whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Into that group, so they didn't like it. So
I guess the lesson overall is that you really hope people would understand, particularly people who are going through that sort of emotional state in their life, is being able to project forward and see that things can change.
Yeah.
Because that's the hardest message to get across.
100%. And as parents, I often go, it'll be okay. And it's like, I trust and believe in that. But how do you get a child to understand that? It's
it's pretty heavy. It's a heavy topic.
Yeah. Wow. And how do you feel the Australian metal scene has changed since Temtris first emerged?
It's changed a lot, I think.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. When we started, it was there were a lot of rock bands or hard rock bands, and thrash bands were kind of still a bit of a new thing.
Yeah. So
probably showing a bit of age there, but we have been around for a while. It's been really interesting watching the whole musical scene try and adapt to, initially what was the collapse of the industry financially, and everything being picked up by internet, and now into the social media world. But bands and that whole musical aspect has changed dramatically, even over the short space of time that we've been running around.
Not as many venues to play in.
Yeah.
is social, like the internet. It's all about social stuff now and posting as much as you can, and being in people's. It's really, I find it overwhelming sometimes. Thinking I think tonight our album's out tomorrow, and I've done one little post about our Japanese pressing, and I'm like, I'm actually like already mentally tired from my job.
Yeah. And now you've got
to keep giving, and that's where it's. I think the industry has changed. It used to be you could go and play and reach everybody, but now you've got to play, you've got to promote, you've got to do TikTok, you've got to do all this other stuff, and
live stagecraft has changed as well. I mean, everyone's probably familiar now with the fact that musicians have got earphones in. They're all listening to clicking clocks inside their heads. For the most part. More and more bands are adding more and more sampled sounds into their musics. It's in a lot of instances now a live performance is live by how much. You almost feel like some bands should be putting a little list like they do on alcohol products. Like this performance will be
50%. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. A solid stage performance is a solid stage performance, and the audience is going to enjoy it. But there is definitely a widening split between pure live band performance and a lot of bands that have now moved into more. It's almost stage show.
Yeah.
And the way we would jokingly refer to music like Riverdance and stuff when that was put on. There's a lot more bands now that are on that path and using the special effects and using the sound throughout their entire show. It really rang true when we were touring Europe, because we would turn up just with our boards and our guitars, and the sound guys would be like, so laptops, computers, ear monitors. You're like, no, none of that. Plug that in, the drummer will count in and we'll play. Oh, well, the hands that go together, they'd be like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to love this. And so often the engineers would come off at the end and say, it's been so long since I've worked with a band like that. So often everything is just being automated and done. Even for them as the mixing engineer, it's all been done for them. They're told to just plug it in and turn the volume up. So for us, I suppose that shows a little bit again of our age, but it is part of our drive as the band. Yeah. We take great pride in the fact that we work hard to be good musicians. We work hard to write good songs that can be performed live on stage. Our music is designed to be a show, but it's a live show. When I walk off stage, if I've played 90% of the guitar music that I've had to play correctly, I'm pretty pumped with that, because it's not easy. And it's the same for the rest of the guys in the band. When we walk off stage, if we've really nailed a show, the personal reward that you feel knowing that that's simply on the efforts of your hard work and the fact that you've just put all your talent into a great big ball and you've managed to succeed with it. It's kind of cool. It's a bit like rock climbing without anchors and safety nets and things. It's like, it can all go horribly wrong, but that's kind of what makes it fun.
Exactly. No, I think that's so true. And even though, you guys, because you guys have been around for a while now, when you guys first started out, I imagine that you put on a live show and you put on a live show. Like, there's not much else more to it. It's you guys giving your all and your best. And I think that in this day and age, we're losing a lot of that, as you were saying, like, because everything's very overly produced. And it must be also a bit of a double-edged sword with social media, you being able to connect so easily with fans, but then also feeling that pressure like you have to post constantly.
Yeah. Well, we've actually got a song on the new album called No One Is Listening, and that's actually about trying to get through the layers and layers of the amount of music that is out there now and trying to be heard and get your product heard. And it feels like you're working your ass off and you're reaching this little piece every album, a little bit more. So, yeah, that's what that track is actually about.
Yeah. You guys have made it internationally as well, though. Was there a like significant moment when you thought like, oh my gosh, like we have made it?
I don't think we don't ever think we've made it. We're always looking at the next goal.
Yeah.
I always said I'd be happy to be known as one of Australia's female heavy metal singers, and I guess I am in a sense now. People know who I am, and people go to me, "You don't realise how big you are." And I'm like, I'm just a girl from Nowra. Still, for us, we go to Europe and we're like, okay, we've played a festival now, and we're hopefully going back again next year to play some more festivals. And I guess that's what defines making it. And for us, we are happy what we've achieved. It's been a hard yard to get where we have got, but we are always pushing ourselves to get to that next level. So
yeah, and I mean, again, our band is sort of more built on that musical aspect. For us, making it is just performing really well. And because that is kind of our focus, we don't have sort of benchmarks where we've sold this many albums, so we must have made it, or we've performed it at this particular festival, so we must have made it. When we are really happy as a band, it's because we've delivered a solid set of music to whatever audience has happened to be in front of us, and those audience members have appreciated it. They've understood it. They've connected with it. They've grabbed us after the show and gone, I had a shit week this week, but I came and saw your band, and suddenly, everything's right in the world again. That's making it for us from our perspective. So, it's.
And that's raw and honest, and I think that's what it all should be about at the end of the day. It's lovely to hear that's how you guys think. And what's next for Temtris after this release? Can we expect a tour, videos, or maybe even a vinyl pressing?
Yeah, look, I've always wanted to do vinyl. It's just been, money always runs out at the end by the time I've organised touring and recording and pressing albums, and but I would love to do this album, Queen of Crows, on vinyl. So if I manage to recoup some costs, that is on my list to do. But we definitely we had to postpone our tour to Europe after Nick, our drummer, had his heart attack at Burning Witches in the Sydney show, which was devastating. But he's alive, so that's good.
He's all right.
He's back at it. But we are definitely planning to get back to Europe. We're aiming at the moment for April, May to get back to Europe. So we're just locking in a couple of festival dates, and then I will hopefully start booking. We want to get back to the UK again, and then we might take a break. I don't know, from writing. We always say this is costing too much. It's too much hard work. I'm too tired from it. I don't want to do anymore. And then we always start writing again. So.
Well, it'd be a well-deserved break, I think, if you decided to have one. Oh, guys, we're loving Queen of Crows already. It's been so lovely to speak with you both. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
No worries, anytime.